if I was going to tell you that one of the major auto manufacturers, including Tesla, was going to 5x over the next 10 years, who would you bet on?
Yes.
I mean, GM, Ford, they've had their opportunity to 5x. Tesla has shown that they can grow tremendously.
In today's video, Tesla bull Landon Swan observes that Tesla's vehicles are getting cheaper while everybody else's is getting more expensive. He talks about Tesla's increasing website traffic, a potential FSD licensing deal, and new Tesla models he would like to see. All of the discussion revolves around his belief that Tesla will 5x before any other company. Let's watch.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We're seeing a lot of pretty strong data out of Tesla. This is one, as you alluded to, that we've been bullish on for quite some time, going back years, frankly. But overall, very bullish on Tesla. And some of the reasons that we're seeing that are, the data that can back it up are the mentions are up about 7% on a year-over-year basis. Most of that is actually fueled by the Model X and the Model Y, with, of course, the Cybertruck contributing a lot of buzz lately. So we're seeing, strong uptick in mentions on a year-over-year basis, just a slight uptick actually, but it's starting to move very strong. And then when we get to the web visits, it's very strong. It's about 62% on a year-over-year basis. So a lot more interest on Tesla.com. Obviously, that's where you would go before you buy. You're thinking about buying, you're checking it out. And I think a lot of that has to do with not only the buzz and the quality of the vehicles, but also the price. I mean, they have decreased the price by about 25% on a year-over-year basis, where almost every other car manufacturer is up on a year-over-year basis. Everything is getting more expensive in the U.S. except for Tesla cars. And so, you can have a pretty good debate on what that means about the company. Are they in trouble? They can't sell them, therefore they've got to cut the price, or are they trying to scale to very high levels and get compete with much cheaper cars? And this is very bullish for the automaker. So it's tough to really to weigh in on that. I think it's a little bit of both, frankly. I mean, if they had the pricing power to keep them up, they would. Maybe they don't have as much, but it could be a factor of so much increased production that they've got to move these somehow, and they're getting out there, and now they're competing with really cheap cars like a Corolla. I mean, this is something that you wouldn't think of 3 or 4 years ago.
And guys, the last time we got an update on Tesla website traffic from the Swan brothers was October 11th, and that's when they reported year-over-year growth of 59%. Fast forward to today, it's late November, and they're reporting 62% year-over-year growth. So it's nice to see traffic to Tesla.com trending upwards over that time, and that is with 0 price cuts. We've actually seen 3 price hikes over the last 3 weeks. And once Cybertruck hits the roads, I bet you that website traffic is going to double. You can't ignore this vehicle. People are going to see it on the road and go, wow. Every time someone drives a Cybertruck, 1,000 people are going to lay eyes on it. Check out this story from over the weekend. I met a man at a New York City Tesla showroom today who had never heard of the Cybertruck. He spotted it from the window and came right in to see it. He wanted to order one and asked the associate if he could have it delivered by year end. The associate told him that delivery timelines were not yet public, and I had to break the news to him that if he ordered the Cybertruck today, it would likely be a few years before he saw it. He was stunned. I wonder how many people will run in to put in an order once the Cybertruck hits the streets. And of course, this depends on the Cybertruck price, which we are going to find out on Thursday. If it comes in around $90,000 to $1,000, then all bets are off. But if it comes in around $50,000 to $60,000, could be a lot of people like this man rushing to place an order when they finally lay eyes on it. And guys, I think there's going to be a lot more than 10 Cybertrucks present at the delivery event on Thursday. Just yesterday, 25 Cybertrucks were spotted at Giga Texas.
We'll have the Cybertruck in there next year on a year-over-year basis. I think they've got their first 10 that are going to be delivered on Thursday of this week, and then they're going to ramp up production over the next year or two to about 5,000 units per week. So they're moving, and I haven't seen one in the wild yet. I'm looking forward to seeing one soon. Down here in South Florida, I'm sure I'll see a couple, but I can't wait to see what these things actually look like in person. And I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it doesn't look like a truck to me. But I'm a truck guy, but I still think it's interesting. I'd never own one, but I definitely want to see one. With those price cuts, though, their margins are decreasing, I think, from about, down to about from 25% down to about 18%. So, they're getting leaner, I guess, on the balance sheet or on the income statement, but their numbers are really ramping up. So they are still the clear leader when it comes to EVs, and they've got a lot of competition trying to catch up, but they're very, very far behind in the rearview mirror. Sorry, dad joke there, but they are leading the way very well when it comes to the EV market. And I wouldn't be surprised if this company is over 300 in the next, 6 months.
Tesla's margins are getting leaner. Prices have come down. We're heading into a deflationary environment. But meanwhile, all these other car companies are raising their prices. So who do you think the consumer is going to choose when trying to buy a vehicle? The reason these other companies are raising their prices is because they've actually given up on competing with Tesla for a mass market EV. They're choosing to settle on low volume, high margin options. Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, has gone on the record saying this. Volkswagen just came out the other day and publicly stated that they are no longer competitive. These legacy companies were just never able to get on board the ship, as now the average price of an EV is lower than the average price of an ICE vehicle in India, China, and Europe, and is expected to be in the US next year. And this is in part because the lithium-ion battery is on a steeper slope than hydrogen fuel cells or alternative battery chemistries. I mean, look at this cost of a battery pack. It's dropped by a full order of magnitude since 2010. But with these legacy companies literally admitting defeat, the panel is about to ask where Tesla's new competition is.
Landon, there's the word that I think strikes fear in the heart of Tesla shareholders and a lot of different sectors. It should be striking a fear right now in the hearts of AI holders, and that is competition. Because competition from, domestic players in China, competition from Ford, GM, not doing a great job of competing there, but there is some competition. Rivian seems to be starting to get in the game here, but the valuation of Tesla, its valuation is bigger than Ford and GM combined. This is a company that. Is Elon Musk doing all the right things? That's the big question. Is he cutting prices to bury the competition, or is he cutting prices because he has? By the way, the numbers, Tesla, gross profit margin 17.89, so you were close at 18%. Ford 14.24, GM 12.1, Toyota still 20.7. So it's going to get interesting here, but competition is the word that should scare Tesla stockholders, Landon.
I agree, but I mean, here's a little thought exercise. If I was going to tell you that one of the major auto manufacturers, including Tesla, was going to 5x over the next 10 years, who would you bet on?
Yes.
I mean, GM, Ford, they've had their opportunity to 5x. Tesla has shown that they can grow tremendously. And so this is a growth stock as much as it is a car manufacturing stock. I mean, they've shown significant insight with innovation. They've done a great job of just becoming a leader in so many different ways. And the fact that this drastic price cut now puts them basically in line with the competition, still on the high side when it comes to margins, is, I think, it's another sign that they were very high to begin with, but now they're coming in, and I think they're taking the competition out at the knees, frankly.
I think we need to take a second to really understand the weight of what Landon is saying, because Tesla has a way bigger valuation than Rivian. Rivian, for example, has a $15 billion market cap. So for them to 5x, they would only need to add $60 billion to their valuation. Whereas Tesla has a $750 billion market cap. So for them to 5x would take an additional $3 trillion in valuation. So for Swan to come on and say that he expects Tesla to add $3 trillion in value before Rivian adds $60 billion, it's a huge statement of confidence. And it's even crazier when you realize that Rivian already had that $75 billion market cap goal at the beginning of last year. But despite the big numbers, it makes sense. The path for Tesla to 5x is so well laid out that it almost feels tangible. Rivian, on the other hand, has some major headwinds forthcoming with the Cybertruck and just getting to profitability. So we'll see.
5 years ago, the first, what was it, the S? I think they were like 120,000. It was a dream car. It was an exotic car, and now its little brother, the Model 3, which doesn't, obviously it's not the same, but still it's a Tesla, and there's a lot of cachet that goes along with that. 28,000 is a very low number for that car. Plus, they've got the Supercharger Network that they're absolutely dominating. They've shown that they're the ones that can execute that better than anyone, and their competition is moving over into that category. And they seem to always have this new product buzz. I know that for a while there it was the Model 3, and now it's the Cybertruck. The Model Y is taking off like crazy. So for a company with only a handful of models, they're really doing a great job of getting consumers interested. I mean, just compare how many models they have to Ford, GM, and the rest. It's striking difference. But it's still enough to kind of check something for almost everyone. I think they need a real pickup truck and a real SUV. But I still think that a lot of their vehicles check the box for a lot of consumers out there.
I don't understand what he means by making a real pickup truck and a real SUV. Tesla is just not concerned with making a bunch of models that's going to appeal to every single person in America. Tesla is looking to change the prospect of car ownership by making autonomous ride-hailing extremely affordable. Instead of reaching every consumer in America by making 100 different models, just make one ultra affordable and profitable car that can drive itself, that's going to satisfy the entire ride-hailing market. And assuming you can solve FSD, this is a much simpler option, because now you don't even need to sell cars. You can just deploy them in your robotaxi fleet. Do we still need trucks for doing labor and SUVs for the family? Yes, but the Cybertruck is very much a real truck, and the price will be driven down over time. The Model X is a pretty good size as well. We'll see if Tesla ever makes an SUV, but I think they have better things to do with their time, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Landon, when you look at this, you mentioned the Supercharger Network. I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit, because I think what people forget about is all the data that Tesla has. They do their software upgrades over air. If there's something wrong or they need to update it, they'll do it over air. But at the same time, if full self-driving becomes a thing, they've got more data than anybody. Is this going to be like the Supercharger Network, where Ford and GM already said they're going to use that? So they're going to be a licensing company pretty soon if that becomes reality, right? And that's probably where the margins are going to be the biggest, right?
Absolutely. And think about how far ahead. Yes, they're killing it when it comes to the Supercharger Network, but they're also extremely far ahead when it comes to self-driving. No one else is even close. They're putting time and effort into AI. They're competing with OpenAI now with their own version. And you can argue about which one of those is better, but it just shows you that they are committed to using technology to their advantage. And they're going to be first to self-driving, no doubt about it, and they're going to be far ahead. And then it's like you said, it's going to be a question of Ford saying, well, do we want to invest the billions and billions and the years that it's going to take to become what Tesla is now, and then years later they'll still be far behind? Or do we want to license this technology somehow? There are other plays besides just the cars for Tesla. There's a lot of upside in there, and it seems like every avenue that they explore, they dominate. They're doing well with cars. The Supercharger Network, they're dominating. They're going to dominate self-driving. So if I have to own one of these car manufacturers, Tesla's in it's just a completely separate class for me. And it's, like I said, it is the one that could 5X in the next 10 years, whereas the others are going to have to make hard decisions, compete versus license and partner.
When Tesla licenses FSD, Elon has said that it's going to take a couple of years to implement the hardware and software into another company's products. That is why investors like Gary Black expect a licensing deal to happen for FSD as soon as 2024. And out of all the catalysts on that list, a licensing deal for me is near the top of the stock catalysts. I'd have it up there probably with the V12 Alpha release and the next gen vehicle release. Tesla is already going to be making money from every other car on the road through the supercharging NACS port, which all these other companies have adopted. Their consumers are paying Tesla to charge their vehicles. But now you have an even higher margin passive stream of income through this FSD licensing for Tesla. It's going to be much more lucrative than supercharging. So you have Tesla literally taking control of the entire auto market, getting money from every car on the road. And they're doing that through their expertise in energy and in software. It's amazing to watch. And if you want to see what I think Tesla's going to be worth all the way into 2035, You can gain access to my Tesla valuation model by joining the channel as a member at the link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day.